members of the House Minority Bloc will not support the impeachment complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte. This, according to Congressman Danilo Suarez, is because they believe that majority of Filipinos still trust the policies of the President.
80% acceptance rating, i-impeach mo. That's a political suicide.
But the millions of OFW, definitely hindi namin to susuportahan.
The lawmakers made their statement following the House plenary's referral of the complaint to the Committee on Justice.
Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano. With us tonight is Vince Dizon, President of BCD. Without further ado, we'd like to give the floor to Sen. Alan. Few statements and then a Q&A.
Well, first of all, syempre, lubusan kami nagpapasalamat sa Panginoon, and prayer namin mag-asawa talaga ay si Pangulo ang gamitin kung saan ako makakatulong sa kanyang administrasyon sa bansa. And I talked to him a few weeks ago and said na, Mr. President, I think I've done what I can sa Senate, but it's your choice, pati yung timing. And halo yung expectation at yung surprise kanina. But let me assure all of you that we will do our best to represent our country, to serve God and people. And secondly, that the DFA, from the Secretary down to the most humble employee, will not have their own agenda or their own foreign policy, but will all work hard together to implement the foreign policy of the Philippines, led by the President. Especially yung paulit-ulit sinasabi ng Pangulo na hindi sapat yung welfare and protection ng ating OFWs, kailangan yung comfort and convenience din nila. No? So, to clarify, no, I need to pass the confirmation process. It's a nomination, not an appointment. Dahil in session kami, it's also the way of the President and myself to give respect sa CA, dahil I'm a CA member, no? So instead of being an acting secretary or waiting for the session to end para maging ad interim appointment, we're submitting the nomination, or Malacanang is submitting the nomination to the CA. No? So until that time, no, I'll still be serving in the Senate. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
It's effective immediately, as we understand. Sir, where were you kanina? Kasi I understand you were not on board 001. So where were you when he broke out the news?
The nomination has been signed, but I cannot take the office and the oath until confirmed by the Commission on Appointments. That's why you have a statement from Senator Ping, at nagpapasalamat ako sa kanya, that he's planning the confirmation, and nakikiusap sa mga kasamahan namin dahil kasama din sa CA, and we work together, no, to speed up the process. I came a little bit ahead of the President because we came straight from Geneva, as you've reported, and thank you for that. No, we had a diplomatic mission to report. It's every 3 to 5 years, no? So it's our third cycle we report. So the last one was 2012. So the report was on the last 4 years of President Pinoy and the first 10 months of President Duterte. So to clarify, yung criticisms of extrajudicial killings were from 2012 to now. Because in 2012, criticize yung extrajudicial killings ng 2009, 2010, 2011, no? So, and walang nangyaring botohan doon. Secondly, since nandun na rin sa Europe, so my sister, Deputy Speaker Pia Cayetano, with the help of the Philippine Mission, is talking and continue to meet members of Parliament of the EU, no? And what we realize is that one side of the story lang ang sinasabi doon sa Human Rights Council, doon sa Europe, sa Northern America, no? Meaning naunahan tayo ng lahat ng deaths na to ay dahil dito sa war on drugs, grabe yung abuse, strongman rule, etc., no? So I'm not saying that we convince them that it's not so, but we open their eyes and mind and heart that there's two sides to the story. And hindi rin accurate yung report na they're demanding na si Dr. Calamard ang pumunta sa Pilipinas. Ang usual kapag may issue sa isang bansa, humihingi sila ng independent investigation and special rapporteur. Ang special rapporteur po, hindi po yan prosecutor na pupunta na husgahan. They will go and work with the government to find the problem and recommend. So ang sinabi po natin, welcome, basta't independent at saka fair. Kasi ang problema kay Dr. Calamard ay meron silang ideology sa human rights. Yung ideology nila ay based dun sa paniniwala na ang drugs kailangan i-decriminalize, lalo yung possession for personal use. Kaya makita nyo, kinote niya yung Dr. Hart na sinasabing ang droga ay ang shabu ay walang evidence na nakakakos ng violence or mental illness. Ang layo-layo sa UN report at saka WHO report. But anyway, the short answer, Edith, is tinapos ko lang yung mission doon, kaya ako hindi on board. Then dito na kami dumiretso.
So, another question is, kung ganon, sir, would you consider your going out of the Senate as more of a loss to the president, or I mean, there must be some feeling, because the president needs you also in the Senate. So, what is it? Are you at a are you a loss to him when it comes to numbers and when it comes to who will defend him in the Senate?
No, kayo sa media, dahil matagal na rin tayo magkakilala, yung mga allies ng Pangulo, give me too much credit. It's just like sa Geneva, hindi ako yung gumawa ng trabaho noon. I mean, yung mga iba't ibang ahensya, sila nagtrabaho to put together report at hindi naman pwedeng false yung report. So bago isulat yung report na yun, ginawa talaga nila. Maging NEDA yon, maging PNP, DOH, DSWD. So ang trabaho ko magsalita. So it just so happened that I'm one of the public faces, just like our presidential spokesman, Belia, no? Kaya nabibigyan tayo ng credit, no? Needed in the Senate, we need all the senators there, and we need people who will follow without asking questions. We need people who will follow but ask questions first. We need people who will do nothing but ask questions, kasi that's the democratic process. And the majority of the Senate, including the minority, no, has now all committed to constructive engagement with the administration. And the administration have shown them, despite yung political will niya, dinoble niya halos budget ng CHR. Despite the fact na ang tingin kung ano gusto ng presidente yung masusunod. Kung ano sabihin ng CA, nagsasubmit siya. Despite the fact that sinasabi na baka may mga deals dyan, may cronyism, saan ba nakukuha yung pera, siya pa lang ang presidente na nagpasa ng FOI. No? So to answer your question directly, yun nga yung prayer ko, na si presidente nang gamitin kung saan ako kung saan ako magagamit to help the country. And I really hope that I can contribute. We have the best people in DFA, but suddenly we're relevant around the world. Suddenly, the Philippines, hindi siya isang speck na napakaliit lang na player sa world affairs. Diba? Suddenly, tumatawag si President Trump, tumatawag si President Xi Jinping, may imbitasyon sa Kremlin. So, the new bridges, the new friends that the President established, and then how do we repair kung meron man problema sa old allies natin, sa Japan. Sa Japan walang problema, but let's say sa US, sa Europe, sa Canada, no? So yun ang magiging mission ng mga taga-DFA, no? To follow the policy of the president but to keep building bridges.
To be honest and to be frank about this, who is it, do you think, would fill your shoes in the Senate? Who would fight for the president the way you're fighting for the president now that you're out of the Senate?
Marami. You know, si Senator Coco, iba lang ang kanyang style. Tapos si Majority Leader Soto, pagdating sa legislation, siya naman magpupush. Si Senator Ping and Senator Gordon can give fiery criticisms just like FBR, but they want this administration to succeed. Pagdating naman sa actual work, di ba, of course, nandyan, I mean sa legislative work, si Sen Mix was dating majority leader. Si Manny Pacquiao is showing na kahit neophyte na, ang dami niya na knock out. And I think he is really studying how to deal with national problems. Sherwin Gatchalian, Joel Villanueva. You know, it's, as I said, you gave me too much credit kasi I hold the microphone eh. So actually the bigger challenge for me now is if politicians like microphones, diplomats should not engage in microphone diplomacy eh. Kasi iba yung nag-implement ka ng strategy, iba yung nag-criticize or ano ka, no? So that's a bigger challenge for me, Edith. But the president is in good hands sa present Senate, and then we'll have an election in 2019. I will tell you that whether or not I was going to the executive, no? In fact, ako na nagsasabi parati sa ating Pangulo na yung leadership, no, wants to be with him, meet him, talk to him, and sort out, no. And makikita nyo kung ano ang effectivity ng lower house, ganun din naman sa Senate.
Sir, a few questions. First, sa presentation nyo during the Universal Periodic Review, there are those who criticize your presentation there, saying that you actually covered up the spike or a good number of drug-related killings under the new administration. That's the first question. That's number two. Since the government, it seems, the administration is not open to Calamard as the one to investigate the incidents here, are you open if it would be someone else, also from the Human Rights Council?
Okay. For first question, I'm willing to resign, to be jailed, to be exiled if mali yung present ko, or at the very least if I intentionally misled anyone. Lahat ng present ko is based on fact, based on actual numbers, no? So remember, dati pa sinasabi na maraming extrajudicial killings. Noong 2012 pa lang, pinuna na ng the same countries na pumuna sa atin, pinuna nila ang Aquino government for extrajudicial killings. And to be fair kay President Aquino, that included the Arroyo, the last years of the Arroyo government, including media killings, cause-oriented groups. No? Anong ginawa ni President Aquino at ni Secretary De Lima na now senator? Nagpasa ng Administrative Order 35 na ang ginawa nila, that was the middle of 2012. So sabi nila, pag hindi cause-oriented, hindi media, no, hindi religious group, hindi extrajudicial killing. Pero pagdating ni President Duterte, suddenly lahat ng patay, tignan nyo yung actual reports. No? I don't wanna name we had one of the editors of one of the .nets in the Senate, and tinanong namin directly, why are you using this term? Why are you using these numbers? Sabi nila, sa bibig ng presidente ng gagaling, napapatayin, etc. No? But the numbers they were using was not based on yung dating definition. So ang sinasabi ko lang naman, kung gagamitin nyo yung lumang definition, so tanggapin natin na before Duterte came, there was 11 to 16,000 every year, or 77,000 in the last 6 years. May nakita na naman ako article kanina, binaba ko daw numbers ko from 77 to 16. Hindi po. Sabi ko, 11 to 16 every year for the last 6 years. Pag inad mo yung last 6 years, 70 to 77,000 yan. Depende if you start on 2009 or 2010. No? So the numbers we've given, none of them was fuzzy math or creative math. None of them were plucked out. Ito official government statistics, and we're willing to deal with it. Let me reverse the question. So you mean to say dati 11 to 16,000 ang patay every year? Pagdating ni Duterte, nawala yung 11 to 16,000 na patay, and yung patay ngayon na 9,000, lahat yon ay dahil sa droga? Saan yung patayan for the last 5-10 years na it's always 11 to 16,000? So we have a problem with numbers now. So kung 12,000 ang patay ngayon, what we're saying is bilang accurately to the last one, yung because of presumed legitimate operation. Yung outside of that, no, are killings that are homicides. So like ang US, the US criticized us and said, EJ case, ilan ba ang patay sa US every year dahil sa crime? Are EJ case din ba yan? Kasi kung EJ case yun, wala silang karapatan na pintasan tayo dahil times 5 or times more than 5 ang dami ng EJ case sa kanila. But sasabihin nila, hindi, yung sa amin is because of crime or because of police operations. So that's what I'm saying. No? Having said that, let me just point this out, Christian. No? We told the UN, don't take our word for it. But wag nyo naman rin i-take yung word nung kritiko na as if yun na yung numero. Padala kayo ng independent team. Ang problema yung team na gustong ipadala nung una, hindi pa pumupunta dito, may judgment na. Si Dr. Calamard, meron na siyang nasa utak niya kung ano nangyayari dito, against na siya. Tingin na niya killings to, tingin niya. And by the way, no, hindi expertise ni Dr. Calamard ang extrajudicial killings, forced disappearance, abductions, no? Nagulat ako nung sinabi nung mission natin yun that's not what she was teaching in Colombia, and that's not what her focus was on. It was on government accountability, communications, etc. No? And lalo hindi siya expert sa droga. So how can you have someone who will come here and evaluate na meron na siyang conclusion, tapos meron na siyang findings na ang droga hindi nakakasama? Samantalang ang WHO at saka yung UN meron ng no. So to clarify, no, it is our job to give an accurate report. That's what we give it. Will they believe it? It's up to them. Will they not believe it? But we gave our side. And then we opened it up to investigation. So since it's an official record, I'll give you another example, no, yung sa SONA. Gulat na gulat yung mga taga-Europe, kaya galit yung ibang taga-CHR at ibang nagkri-criticize sa atin kasi nakita yung kabilang side eh. Kasi ang pinapakita lang sa Europe, yung tinatawag ni Presidente na hindi ganun tatalas ang mga European or etong mga human rights ganito or bahala kayo sa buhay nyo, di ba? In other words. So when they saw the President talking presidential, they saw the President saying no abuse, telling the police you're worse than criminality, it gave them another side eh. Di ba? That's why may nag-complain nga eh, bakit pinayagan yung video ba't nagpaalam tayo?
Related to your upcoming post as the Foreign Secretary. First, there's this issue being raised against politicians like you, the non-career. Parang they see this as more of a political accommodation, that this position should be better given to a career officer or diplomat.
I haven't heard that kasi usually yung criticism na yan ay sa mga post sa ambassador. Kasi since after EDSA revolution, sino ba ang career na DFA? It's always, di ba, it was Doy Laurel, Senator Romulo, Gingona, and ano. So the criticism usually is since we have a professional, a very professional foreign service group, wag dagdagan ng politicians or ng political appointees sa mga post, no? Meaning as ambassadors and others. No? But as for the DFA chief, of course, I'm with the DFA na one day dapat magkaroon ng from the ranks, di ba? But it's been more usual than unusual in the past decades that it's a political appointee, no?
Sir, last, there are questions regarding what the foreign policy of the Philippines actually is under the Duterte administration. Some are saying that there has to be further clarification. Once you assume office, do you think how would you clarify or define the foreign policy under the president, and would you advocate for greater balance yung while we're moving toward China and other allies, hindi naman ganun kasakit din yung sinasabi from the traditional Western allies?
You know, let me dissect that. First of all, are we willing to clarify? Yes. Trabaho namin sa gobyerno maging transparent at trabaho natin na maintindihan ng lahat ang mga policies ng gobyerno, including foreign policy. Having said that, the Constitution itself provides for an independent foreign policy. Gusto ko lang i-distinguish yung policy itself at strategy. Minsan kasi, alam na naman nung iba yung policy, pero yung strategy ang gustong questionin o gusto pag-usapan. Saan ka naman makakita na nasa gitna ka ng struggle, ng laban, ipapakita mo yung strategy sa buong mundo, no? Having said that, I would like to institutionalize more briefings na off the record to the media, to the Senate, to the House, and to other interested groups, including think tanks, so that they will know the information that we know. Because sometimes kulang ng impormasyon. But when we do those briefings, it's with the understanding that there are things that are not for broadcast. Because it's, halimbawa, ano yan di ba, yung negotiations. Alam ko na willing magbenta yung biyenang ko ng lupa at 1 million. Pero ang sinasabi sa iyo, 2 million. Eh pag in-announce ko na alam mo, papayag yan sa 1 million. Ikaw ba, tatawad ka ng 1.5 million? No, marami sa diplomacy, di ba, ay negotiations eh. No, give and take yan. May kailangan sila, may kailangan tayo. So there's a lot of things about diplomacy that you cannot use the microphone. That's why I'm here, because it's my obligation, but after this, after my saying thank you confirmation, you'll hear more from the spokesman and much less from me, because nga hindi tayo gagamit ng diplomatic, ng microphone diplomacy.
Sir, last, do you think the Philippines under President Duterte is losing leverage with China over the dispute in the South China Sea because of our too much engagement in terms of economic benefits to the detriment of our strategy in the South China Sea?
I'll be very honest with you. I think yung questions ka rin separate mali eh. So pag mali yung question, mali yung sagot, no? The question is, ano ba goal natin? And are we meeting the goals with the President's strategy? Ano ba goal ni President Arroyo, President Ramos, President Era, President Aquino? Di ba number 1, hindi mag-move forward ang China. Di ba? O number 2, yung hindi ma-damage yung ating claim. And then number 3, yung mga hawak na natin na features mas strengthen. But there's a fourth na nakakalimutan outside the West Philippine Sea, which is the overall relationship with countries for the rest of the country, including economic diplomacy. So in the 60s, 70s, malaki problema natin sa Malaysia because of Sabah. But we found a way to be friends and brothers and sisters to Malaysia despite that. And now they're even helping us with the peace talks. No? So if you ask me, ano objectives ng Presidente, very clear that our claims, both territorial and economic, and our sovereignty rights, our sovereign rights, our economic entitlements, not only to claim but to eventually get it. No? So yes, we're meeting the objectives, and the President is moving a giant step forward. Ang problema, may mindsets, and these mindsets are based on, in any change, there are winners and losers. So syempre, in the geopolitics, there are some countries who are saying, oh, ba't biglang lumipat? But look at Japan. Japan had a heart-to-heart talk with us, and Prime Minister Abe and President Duterte are very good friends, are in touch with each other, and now Japan is bridging with the US and we're bridging with China. So there's a way. I mean, look at US. No? Ang Japan at saka South Korea, always, perennial yan, may problema. Pero constantly, pareho nilang kakampi ang US. So why can't we be the same? No? Why can't we be in between 2 or 3 or 4 world powers na may problema sa isa't isa, pero tayo okay tayo sa kanila, no? Kasi makikita natin kung nagfe-fail yung policy ni Presidente if situation is getting worse for us, no? But right now, itong May, we will start talking to China bilaterally about the claims of both countries. Right. And the COC, yung conduct on the seas, di ba? The Code of Conduct, for a decade, it's been stalled. But now, to the leadership of the President sa ASEAN, through the cooperation of our ASEAN brothers and the member states with China, if we get that passed, di ba, napakalaking ano niyan, napakalaking ano. So what I'm saying is that iba kasi yung nagagamit na pamantayan eh. So last administration, gaano katindi statement natin, gaano ka, ngayon hindi yun yung ating objective eh. Because we already got the award, it's there na eh. So how do we meet our objectives is the focus of the Duterte administration.
Okay. Incoming Secretary. Sir, speaking while at it po, speaking of the COC, I just want to know your yung magiging sagot nyo rito. What do you think should be included in the framework? Should it be legally binding? Do you think China will agree for the code to be legally binding? And how important is it to include the elements of the arbitration ruling in the COC?
Okay. Again, pangungunahan ko lang, no, that in discussing some of that, we will be letting our strategy go, no? But let me say this, no? Kung meron kang peace and stability sa region, everyone nakikinabang. Kikinabang Japan, nakikinabang China, nakikinabang US, Canada, tayo, no? Pag walang peace and stability, ibig sabihin yung tension sa West Philippine Sea ay magulo, masyado, no? May ilan countries, Northern American countries at Europe nakikinabang. Why? Because ASEAN and ASEAN can't get their acts together. So not na gusto nila magkagulo tayo, but di ba, it's just like sa Middle East eh. Kung magkaroon ng peace sa Middle East, there's such a powerful economic, technological, etc. block, no? Pero because of the problems with peace, as a region, hindi sila, and because may mga rivals, no? So, yung COC is there, or yung Code of Conduct, para all of us can work together with each other. You know, one thing that it's not being emphasized is that our claims are not only against China. May claim din tayo against Vietnam, Malaysia, against Taiwan, no? Which under our policy, may one China rule tayo, no? One China policy. But ang point ko, kung aawayin natin lahat ng neighbors natin na meron tayong dispute, no? Tayo lang maiiwanan sa buong region eh. So let me not go into the details, di ba? How we'll get there, what we'll do there, ganyan. But let me tell you this, no? Walang masasayang sa past efforts. Sa lahat ng past efforts, from President Marcos and even before to President Aquinos, wala tayong sasayangin. So ibig sabihin, bawat bala na binigay sa atin na pabor sa Pilipinas, nandyan yan. Sabi nga lang ni Presidente, give him the option kung kailan niya ilalabas, kailan niya gagamitin. And we will follow the President.
Apo. Incoming SFA, laruin ko lang po yung, meron kasi yung nabanggit din yung DFA before, and yung magkakaroon po ng bilateral talks between the Philippines and China in May to specifically discuss the claims. Yes. Can you elaborate and clarify that, sir?
Okay. Let me give you a historical background, no? May problema din ang China at saka Japan sa East China Sea, sa kabila, okay? And then, ang nangyari, nung nagkaroon ng UNCLOS, ang sinasabi ng China, sandali lang, may continental shelf din kami. So, halos umabot sa Japan yung claim. Eh, sabi naman ng Japan, hindi, under the UNCLOS, yung atin easy, kung nag-overlap, hahatiin, gitna tayo, no? But ano nangyari? Bakit lumayo ang Japan at China sarili? Because of several issues, the war, no? World War II, yung mga nangyari between Japan, China, yung islands, no, yung Senkaku Islands kung tawagin ng Japan, tapos nagkaroon ng time kasi na nagkaroon ng food poisoning na yung pagkain ng processed in China. What am I saying? It reached a point na nahirapan yung leaders ng two countries na mag-usap at mag-cooperate because yung local nila galit at each other. So the President wants to avoid na dumating ang time na sa init ng ulo ng Chinese sa Pilipino, init ng ulo ng Pilipino sa Chinese, init ng ulo ng Malaysian sa ganito, ng Vietnamese sa ganito, hindi tayo pwede mag-usap-usap, no? So part of the agreed upon yung wisdom, no, in the past was when Chairman Deng Xiaoping told the Japanese Prime Minister, you know, if our generation is not that smart or not that brilliant enough to solve the dispute now, why don't we improve our relationship sa iba and then go back to that maybe the next generation? And that happened. Tinulungan ng Japan ang China nag-engage, yumaman ang China, no? So when President Aquino visited President Cory Aquino visited China during her term, yun din ang sinabi sa kanya ni President Deng. So now we're next generation, so we have to see if we're wise enough to find a solution, to find a framework to work together or to win our claim, why not? But if we're not wise enough, how do we manage it para hindi naman maapektuhan yung fisheries, yung tourism, yung investments, and security. Let me end with last example, no? Sinasabi po ng ibang Western countries, freedom of navigation kasi masyadong valuable yung area na yan at masyadong malaki, no, trillions of dollars ang dumadaan dyan. So hindi pwedeng makontrol ng China at masara because of world commerce. But China naman is saying, ba't namin isasara? Pag sinara namin yan, in 3 to 4 months, tumba ang aming ekonomiya. Because yung coastal states nila, di ba, nandun. So sabi ng isa, bakit minimilitarize? Well, that's the same thing that happened to the US when the US put missiles in Turkey at umangal yung USSR, and then USSR put missiles in Cuba. So the Philippines is in a strategic role now to talk to Japan, Australia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Brunei, Taiwan, etc. to talk to all of them na, wag tayo mag-militarize. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, isa lang nagmi-militarize Diba? So, for example, under our VFA, are there nuclear submarines in Philippine waters? Are there nuclear submarines in the waters of Taiwan? Kung meron, do you blame China kung meron sila? I'm not saying tama. I'm just saying it's much, much more complicated. That's why I wasn't saying mali ang tanong nyo. I'm saying as a people, dahil dati one-dimensional yung problema, Philippines versus China, ang tanong parate, iisa. But actually, ang ginawa ni President Duterte, binuksan yung isip natin na ang complicated pala nito, and we have to dissect at isa-isa, no? But not a single, like Benham Rice, no? Through President Duterte's diplomacy and his strategy, we got assurances by everyone that walang mag-claim, walang makikialam, and it's safe. So sinabihan nga tayo, put your Navy and military elsewhere. No, because you're safe there. And that's important. Kung hindi, will be spread so thin. No?
Apo. Sorry, last na lang for me. So not to belabor the point yung sa strategy, sa May po ba, may pag-asa na ma-mention nyo na, ma-mention po ng Pilipinas. Kayo po, sir, kami bilang incoming DFA Secretary, yung tungkol sa arbitration ruling. Can that be a proper venue, or is that a proper venue at the right time?
I don't know exactly. But what we're assuring the people is, parang ganito yun, no? If I'm saying na yung lupa, kung nasan yung bahay ni Spokes, di ba, ay akin, and I have a title, no? Ito yung titulo, okay? Ito evidence ko. Pero meron din akong court order na akin din to. So kung sasabihin ni Spokes, sige, usap tayo, no? It doesn't matter kung ito o ito, ipakita ko What's important is yung claim natin, and yung basis ng claim nandun. Di ba? So, we don't want to start. We told our Chinese counterparts, tayo nagsabi mag-start tayo walang kondisyon. Kasi doon sila hindi nagkaintindihan ni President Aquino. May kondisyon ng China, may kondisyon din si President Aquino. So, paano mag-uusap? Di ba? But this time around, sabi natin, sige, both walang kondisyon. Di ba? But, create tayo ng mutual trust. Kaya meron tayong tentative fisheries agreement. That's why ang artisan fishermen hindi ginugulo. Minsan may report na may gulo ng iba. Remember, artisan fishermen, no? Hindi to yung large scale, hindi to yung mga malalaking fishing boat. Hindi yun ang nakalagay sa UNCLOS, no? So that's why sometimes nalilito din yung iba na meron bang tentative fishery agreement o wala. And again, there was a tentative fishery agreement with Japan. But the souring of the relationship brought them to where they are today, and we don't want to be where they are today, no?
So baka hindi ma-mention, sir, yung arbitration ruling sa May?
Maaaring hindi, but what I'm saying is it doesn't, what matters is it's the claim. It's the same, no? What matters is that China will say, this is their claim, this is our basis. We will say, this is our claim, this is our basis. What words we use, what documents we use. For example, no? If you use the decision, no? Because nandun na lahat ng evidence, walang kaibahan yun na you get all the evidence and show it then. So nasa decision na nakalagay 1526 mapa. Pero dala ko rin yung 1526 na mapa, no? So in negotiations like this, remember the tribunals do not have the power to implement. Wala tayong problema, pati China at lahat ng bansa, kung meron world court na mag-i-implement. Pero the reality is hindi. And even if we want it implemented, that's only against China. Paano yung claims ng Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, etc.? So kakasuhan din ba natin sila lahat? Di ba? Nare-report sa media lang yung aggressiveness ng China sa island niya. But the others are also building. But we're taking care of that. Hindi tayo hindi nagpapabaya ang DFA natin sa pag-protest, sa claims natin and everything. And there's a group of academicians who from the start of UNCLOS was there, who are working day and night to find a way to put up frameworks na magkaroon ng peace in that region.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. More questions? More? We're done. Other questions? Please, folks.
Yeah, pertaining tomorrow, I understand it's not only the president who's going to present the Dutertenomics. Are there any other how would it be presented tomorrow?
Vince?
Magandang gabi po. Good evening. Bukas po ng 11:30, I think. Around that time, meron pong Dutertenomics Forum. This will be very similar to the forum that was conducted in Manila several weeks ago during the ASEAN. Yung pong key infrastructure and economic agencies will be there to present the programs to the international media as well as key business leaders here in Cambodia and those who will participate in the World Economic Forum.
So, what exactly do you expect out of that activity tomorrow? You're presenting it to the international community, but the point is, what exactly do you expect out of it? You gain what?
I think the clear expectation is really to, first of all, show the plan of the government with respect to the economy, how we plan to grow the economy. But more importantly, it is really meant to attract business leaders and various business interests to invest in the country. That is really the main.
Do you think the audience tomorrow is the right forum, the right for it?
I think showing the economic plan of the government must be presented to every audience possible, especially now here in this very prestigious economic forum where both business leaders and government leaders are present. I think it's very important.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto.
That ends the press briefing. We'd like to thank the press for being here tonight. Thank you very much.